So some of the symptoms are painful menstrual cramps that may go into the abdominal, stomach, and lower back. So women who usually have not just regular menstrual cramps, very painful menstrual cramps to the point where they have to take off days of work during this time. Pain during or after sex. So endometriosis, even if you're not having a menses at the time, you can still develop pain from the actual from having sex. Okay. You can also develop other symptoms are diarrhea and constipation during menstrual period, low energy or fatigue, or you can have very heavy menstrual bleeding or irregular periods, pain with urination or bowel movement during menstrual period, spotting and bleeding between menstrual periods. So these are some of the symptoms that come along with it. Okay. Now, risk factors, very important, so people understand what the risk factors. A mother, sister, or daughter who already has endometriosis. So if you have endometriosis as a woman, your daughter, if you have a daughter, is a great possibility she will have endometriosis. Remember, we said they do believe it can be genetics. Okay. Abnormal uterus, which is diagnosed by a doctor. Okay. Early menstruation before 11. So if you're menstruating earlier, you have a greater chance of endometriosis. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen, when we talked about fibroids, one of the causes, one of the I would say one of the risk factors for fibroids was developing early menstruation. So you see, having girls who develop early menstruation, they have a lot of risk factors involved, especially if you're doing it before 11 years old. Shorter menstrual periods, less than 27 days on average, okay? Or if you have heavy menstrual periods lasting more than 7 days, okay? Something that can lower your risk of endometriosis. Pregnancy and breastfeeding. That's right, ladies. If you get pregnant, that's excellent. Make sure you breastfeed. Now, we could go into the benefits of breastfeeding another day, but it's very important for women who are risk at endometriosis. If you get pregnant, that helps out. After the pregnancy, breastfeed. That makes a difference in your reducing your risk factors for endometriosis. Having your period later than 14. So let's say if you're having your period at 13, 14 years old, that reduces your risk of having endometriosis. And eating fruits and vegetables. Now we're gonna go into that, okay? We're gonna go into that. So eating fruits and vegetables, okay? So those are some of the things that, risk factors when it comes down to dealing with endometriosis, risk factors as well as the symptoms of endometriosis. So, and endometriosis is not diagnosed often. A lot of times women will just think they're just having really bad menstrual pain, and they'll just pop pills. I'm just going to take my Tylenol. I'm going to just take my Motrin. And they don't realize that sometimes women are bent over, and they just think they're just having bad menstrual pain, not understanding that they have actual endometriosis. So it's really good to get diagnosed. They say a person who develops endometriosis, it takes anywhere between 6 to 12 years before they get diagnosed. Even though they've been suffering that long, it's just they try to deal with it. I'm just going to take my pain relievers. I'm going to take anti-inflammatories, all these things like that. But it takes or they will get on birth control. And birth control helps reduce the symptoms because it regulates your hormones, okay? And endometriosis is estrogen related. It's estrogen fed. So birth control regulates that by making your body reduce the amount of estrogen it produces on its own, because now you're giving it synthetic estrogen as well as synthetic progesterone. That reduces the symptoms. So that sometimes is one of the causes why people are taking so long to get a diagnosis for endometriosis.